Hi folks, Nick Jones here with our resident biochemist and director of BodyWell Institute, Dane Ivicevic. Dane, always a pleasure to have you. I've got a question that I get often. How quickly do body parts recover from a hard workout? What is the recovery process in time? How long does it take muscles to recover? And how often should we train each muscle group? Should we train it once a week, twice a week, 3 times a week for maximum development?
Yeah, it is a good question, and it's something that everyone's always got an opinion on, and there is a lot around it. But I'd say probably over time, especially a few really good meta-analyses that came out talking about frequency, it appeared that training a muscle group probably at least twice a week is more advantageous, up to 3 times for those that are more experienced.
Yes.
So that 2 to 3 times a week appears to be, an advantage there. Certainly frequency is better than saying, in one session I'm going to train legs all in one session. But if you split that up, and let's say you did 15 sets for legs in one go, if you split that up over a week and you did it on 3 different occasions, still 15 sets, so it's the same volume, the one that did it on 3 different occasions would improve more. So same volume of training there, but there's a difference in frequency. So that's where trying to create an effective training split comes into it, because you need to try and pair muscle groups up so that you can train throughout the week, but in a way you're trying to increase frequency so that you can split things enough that you can allow for recovery, engage in other stimulus, and meet that 2 or 3 training frequency in that week.
Yes. So that poses a question then. If you're training very, very hard for that one workout a week, let's say Dorian Yates, Mike Mensa, you're training very, very hard for that one workout, those guys would take a week, say, to recover. But often they would need that long to recover, because maybe the people that are doing or that are involved in the research trials, they're not really training to that intensity, so they do recover in 2 to 3 days. It doesn't take them 5 or 6 or 7. Would that be a correct analysis?
An intensity like a Dorian kind of model is you're not going to be able to do that day in, day out, and if you did, you're going to overtrain and burn out. So it would never work under that model, and that's because it's gone from that relationship between intensity and volume, and it's pushed the intensity so much that you can never have that much volume. And if you did, you're either genetically resilient or there isn't any other option than that, because you're going to really fall apart after that. That's why people would mix between volume and intensity. But that kind of intensity, where you've got such a high load, above 85% of your 1RM, and those who haven't done it before, sometimes it can take them a good 7 days to recover. Those who focus on the eccentric phase of a movement, sometimes that can take them up to 2 weeks to recover if they've never done it. For the majority of us, it's maybe 2 or 3 days. If we stick with a rep range of maybe 12 and 15, and we're thinking, well, the load has to be lighter, 24 hours we might be able to get away with. As soon as we start to push that load and the intensity goes up and the reps come down, well, that's where we start extending that recovery time. And obviously that window changes based on your nutrition, your sleep, and your lifestyle.
Of course.
So if you can't keep up with all of those, you might find it drags out even longer. And by ignoring those things, you predispose yourself to injury, or saying, I've been training really hard, but I'm not getting anywhere. And that's what happens as well.
That makes sense. It's all relative, right? It's all absolutely relative to your lifestyle, how much sleep you're getting, how much food you're getting, and the intensity you're training with.
Yeah, that's right, and it is. And those that train twice a day, again, it's a training split that's allowing them to try and increase frequency, but they haven't smashed the volume too much. But if they've got those rep ranges that are in the higher range, sarcoplasmic, and the load's a bit lighter, you'll find that they can turn over in 12 hours. There's lots of factors that speed up that recovery time, but what's under-researched or valued is how can we speed up those factors, and what contributes to changing those factors. So a lot of people think, oh, look, there's no such thing as overtraining, it's just under-nutrition. And while that can be the case, if you've got your executive who's doing 70 hours a week, they can't drop that because they're not going to have any money. But for hypertrophy, you'll find that a lot of the people want to look great, they want to get involved in it, and want to adopt that different body composition, and trying to create that balance is hard. You can't do it. I couldn't do a Dorian with the workload that I'm doing. If I did, I don't know how I would do it. So, it's so many effective ways of training to the individual, what circumstances can support you to be able to do that training. And one mistake some people make is they will change their training based on their nutrition. But you get your training right and you feed your training. Right? Everyone always does it the other way around. go eat this and now try train like that. It won't work.
No.
You train as hard as you can because that sculpts the best body that you've got.
Yes.
You feed that training and you'll always get a better outcome.
Yes, makes a lot of sense.
It
a
does.
lot of sense. But you know what they say about common sense?
It's not very common.
It's not very common. Folks, there you have it. A great bit of advice and wealth of information and knowledge as usual. Dane Ivicevic, thanks for joining us.
No worries.
Thanks, mate.